This is why the ketogenic diet works so well for seizures, because it's the lowest inflammatory diet. It's also very low in something called deuterium-depleted water. I want you to write that down. Deuterium-depleted water. This will blow your mind when you read about deuterium. It is the level of deuterium-depleted water in the brain that actually causes this hemispherical miscommunication. It's also highly related to those genes that I spoke about. If you Google methylation and seizures, you will be astounded at what you read. You'll think those articles were written for your son. Yes, ma'am. Spinal stenosis. Yeah. So spinal stenosis, like a lot of these issues with the spine, spinal stenosis is actually an issue with the bone. This is a bone growth issue. Eventually the spine starts to look like candle wax, right? And so on the outside of the bone, you have something called the periosteum. It's like a saran wrap that's actually covering the bone. So if you deteriorate this covering, then we say that the bone is deteriorating, but the bone's actually not deteriorating, the covering around the bone. And that bone is methylated from the same tissue that myelin is, and it is governed by methylation. If you Google methylation and spinal stenosis, you will see this, right? Because again, when we start to deplete raw materials in the human body, we can't cover our nerves. We can't produce neurotransmitters. We can't move contents through our gut. So a lot of these are much more simple fixes than we think. So was there any other questions? Yes, sir. Oh, chronic inflammation. So chronic inflammation, inflammation really is the root of all evil, right? And the challenge with inflammation is once a cell becomes inflamed, it's hard to help it, right? Because inflammation is a cell's way of telling the environment around it that it's hurt, right? It's just like when I twist this ankle, how does my body know how to heal that ligament and not heal this ligament? Because this one is inflamed. Right? And so when a cell is injured, it starts to send inflammatory signals into the bloodstream. But if this is an inflamed cell, and let's say it's inflamed because it's deficient in vitamin C, for example, and you bring vitamin C from the bloodstream right up to the wall of that cell, it will not let it in. It's like having a heart attack on the floor right there, but the paramedics being locked outside that door. They can't get through the cell wall to render assistance. So the thing that penetrates the cell wall is DNA, and DNA is governed by methylation. Remember, DNA has two roles in the human body. One is to create an exact copy of itself. The second, which is called replication, the second is called transcription, where it gives all of the instructions to the cell. It's like the CEO. It runs the entire show. It tells every system in the cell what to do.